In the real world, when you get extremely high, the sky gets dark. That's because you're getting in closer and closer to the blackness of space, and the Rayleigh effect as well. Pronunciation uncertain on that. And the Rayleigh effect is actually why the sky is blue, when you're on the ground, that is. However, if you crank that altimeter up, yeah, this is based on actual height above sea level, in case you're wondering. But it takes a long time for that sky to get dark to a reasonable extent, or at least to be noticeable. It does happen, but at this kind of height, it's too small to be noticed. Of course, getting into the clouds is another subject, but still, I want you to take careful note of this. Of course, you might need to jump ahead in the video or just simply wait. And yeah, you should be able to see a difference. Do you see any difference now? It really don't seem like much of a difference, but it is noticeable. If you look at the horizon here, you can actually see that the horizon's much more noticeable. Of course, they have that platform there that was about to come to a stop. Yep, that sky is definitely much more noticeably darker, I should say. So, what about the dusk sky then? Well, you might think that this world's already 100% complete, right? It is, and it was too. So, how is it unchanged then, if I made a change? That's because the sky affects multiple worlds. Yep, every single world here has a sky. Well, in a way, this one probably really doesn't have one. Same with this. Because after all, the sky is nothing but stars. Because it's space, right? Well, Ranus. Here, you saw that big change there, right? That obvious change in brightness. Well, even in this world, that sky darkening effect still takes effect. In this world, well, Ranisa Plains, it's kind of hard to see any changes here. Except you really have to get a ton of height just to see it. And when I mean a ton of height, I mean a ton of height. I think that's enough. Just to get to the point where I can jump a lot. Yep, you can see the blue sky and it's getting darker. Crank that altimeter up and yep, it gets even darker. And of course, all these other worlds are pretty much like that too. Like Kevrin Desert that I'm probably considering for next, although I'm uncertain on that. Kevrin Forest, I need trees for still. Lake Kevrin, the beautiful Lake Kevrin. Air taxi, many of these have it. However, what about the dusk sky? Now this is a real eye candy. It's a real treat to look at, because it's simply beautiful. Ready? There it is. Isn't that just so gorgeous? That is so nice. I love the way that came out. And the automation that I did only made it even better. Yeah, that's right, automation. You saw how I did the sky, right? And how I was doing it manually? Well, I actually figured out a way to do it automatically without all that complexity. But here you can actually see the sky darken much more noticeably. And yes, by the way, this gradient is actually very close to what you see in the real world. It is kind of a orange at the bottom, gets yellow, white instead of green, interestingly enough. That's because of the way the eye works. You're actually receiving red and blue almost equally, so it appears white. Of course, here it's a lot darker. And when I mean a lot darker, I mean a lot darker. Pretty neat effect, isn't it? Yeah, that platform. But, well, how would you like to see the sky getting darker much more quickly? Well, in this case, I have to crank the speedometer up. Yeah, this is about the height of the Andes Mountains or something in South America. Roughly that area, anyway. The Himalayas are so much bigger. But here, I don't know if you can actually see it changing in real time, but I can kind of see it changing, but so slowly. Crank that speedometer up. Ew, fallout. But if you really want to see the darkening effect even more extreme, the Sentus Mountains is the place for you to go. And for one, I really love the way this peak here kind of sticks out against this really beautiful sky here. Now that, when I first saw that, I was really impressed. I wonder if I can actually do that one special jump thing that I did in that other video. Oh well. It allows for much greater height if you do it just right, of course. But yeah, the sky's really getting dark. Yep, that was the area. I was waiting for the peak. Yep, now the speedometer gets cranked up. Uh-oh. It don't look good. Yep, it figures I didn't get it. Oh well, that's the thing about the bounce ability. If you make one mistake, it's right back to the beginning. But actually, if you use these slopes just right, you can actually jump 200,000 feet with only your basic initial jumping. And that's because you're transferring your speed and stuff over. Well, I'll just climb to the top of this, just to give you an idea on what I mean by that. Or at least close to the top, which is somewhere around here. Okay, see, right there. I just did a regular jump, and look, I'm still going up. Yeah, that's the thing about the... But this is about the view from the top of a mountain, basically. Look how dark that sky really is. So how would you like to see the stars? Oh yes, that's right, the stars. Even in the daytime, you can see the star, but it requires a ton of height, or a solar eclipse. But solar eclipse aside, well, you get the idea. Boy, where am I going? But to do that, I'm going to have to make a tweak to the game engine. And here I'm back again. So what change did I make? I'll show you. Jump. Whoa, that's fast. 3,000 miles an hour? You gotta be kidding. But yeah, change one variable and yeah, I can do that. I can make it 1,000,000 miles an hour if I wanted. But here, you can easily see how the sky darkens. Boy, this is so nice looking. Even this actually starts changing too if you look closely enough. Yeah, if you look at the ground there closely enough, you can actually see it just slowly changing. That's so it blends in with this here anyway. However, what about the stars? It takes a ton of height for that. And yes, you can really get this high too. In normal game, by the way. No cheating even required either. It does take a huge amount of dedication, but it can be done. Really, it can be done, I'll tell you. As you can tell, it's still really taking a lot of height. I wonder if I can see any stars yet. But it should be getting pretty close to that. It's about 320,000 feet is roughly the threshold for the going into space, in case you're wondering. But I really don't see anything yet. Hide my debug panel so I can see better. Nope, I don't see anything. Nope, I don't see anything. So, just bring my debug panel back. Well, if you really want to see the stars, like right now, well, I'll just choose another world, basically. Actually, I want to use a different world. I want to use the Sentus Mountains, because it already starts off high to begin with, so I might as well amplify it, right? Well, here it goes. Here you can almost see that changing in real time. That odd thing with a platform, in case you're wondering. This isn't high enough to see the stars yet. But you can actually see how this hue here changes too. in almost real time too. I don't think this is high enough for seeing the stars. Yeah, it's got to be way too bright for that. But yeah, you'll actually see how this changes. It gets more compressed. Remember how this white used to be like right here? Well, that's the thing with extreme height, basically. I'm actually not entirely certain on how that goes. And in fact, my sky darkening effect isn't exactly perfect either. It's got some uncertainty in there. But that's actually expected because, well, I'm not after perfection or anything like that. I'm after getting close. Reasonably close. Hey, I can see stars. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's one here. There's another one there. Yeah, this kind of height does take a lot. There's two ways to actually getting that. One, upgrade jumping. That's the most obvious. Two, figure out how you get to infinite time and activate levy burst and hold up. But 3 miles an hour means you're going to be holding up for an extremely long time. Well, of course, you can also use the slopes in the Sentus Mountains in a convenient way to otherwise get it. That method works. But here, yeah, you can easily see the stars now. It's dusk, but there's so much height that you're pretty much out of the atmosphere. And don't worry about losing HP or anything like that from no breathable air either. But yeah, you can. What's the maximum height, you're probably wondering? Well, you need to add a lot of extra digits on this. Think 2 million coordinate units is a lot? The actual maximum, by the way, let's see, that's E6, I need E18. Oh my, 12 more digits off to the left. That is the maximum height. Here you can easily see how dark the sky has really become. You can see the stars so clearly. And one thing you might also be wondering about, what about Carnivalesta? Well, I'll show you Carnivalesta, but I want to get an extremely high speed fall here. In case you're wondering, yes, I am going to be redoing the character, but that won't be done until I get all the scenery complete, minus story stuff, of course that. And, well, then I'll redo the character, gameplay elements will be added in afterward, and so forth. It'll take time, yes, but yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Even with this much speed, it's kind of hard to see the sky changing, but when I get near ground level, it'll really become obvious. Of course, getting all this extra speed on the horizontal like this is not actually necessary, but still, why not? But now watch up here closely. You can see that changing in real time. It's changing in real time. You can see that right before your eyes changing. Oh boy, where am I going? Bug. This is one I've known about for a while. Why did that get set to 0 when I had so much horizontal speed and it was hitting a otherwise vertical, or a wall basically, so it should have been cut in half. It only happens on the x-axis for some reason, and it's kind of random, so I'm wondering what's going on there. But that aside, what about Carnivalesta? That will get fixed, but right now it's low priority. And the character darkening will be done when I redo the character. That's actually real easy to do. After all, I've done it with all these lights here and the platform here, as you probably saw, dynamically changing. But yep, even here. But you might also be noticing, where's the Big Dipper at? And all those other things, where did they go? That's actually because I made a mistake in the field of view calculation. I don't know why I was using 4 divided by 3 in the arctangent function. It should have actually been 3 divided by 4, which turns the field of view from 106 degrees to about 74 degrees. Or was it 73? Punch in the calculator and you can see. But yeah, you can still see Cassiopeia, and here's Polaris right up here. The Big Dipper, well, I got a jump comb. Well, I don't need to do that. But these two stars right here are of the Big Dipper. This is another one here, and the other one's off the screen. But notice that these two stars point to Polaris. Yeah, that's a pretty handy way to find where Polaris is. What's significant about Polaris? That's the North Star. It points to where North is. Of course, it also can be used to tell your latitude too, which is also very handy. Of course, I can also use the sun to navigate too. But yep, even here you can see the sky darkening quite a bit, although it's kind of hard to see with everything so dark to begin with. But the stars are much more easily noticeable than in any other case. Far more crisp. But if you really want the absolute most crisp, there's only one option. Yep, even here there is no real change, and yes, the gravity is so much weaker here. Of course, you're in space. What would you expect? Of course, at this kind of extreme speed, you can really just go like crazy. Yep, stars here. I don't know what this particular star is. But yep, the sky here is otherwise done, and yes, that is the planet moving. It's one of the very few things games don't bother doing. Same with that sky darkening effect, even leading to the stars. Almost no games even do that. That's one thing that separates Platform Masters from all other games. Not to mention the extreme replay value. You remember the score here, right? Add another, let's see, it's 9, 19, 10 more digits onto this. In the stats page on my Platform Masters website, you can see an extremes case and just what kind of extremes you can get. Think this is a lot of lives? Multiply this by over 500, and you're still nowhere near the maximum. Games usually limited at 255 or 99, but 4.295 billion? That's something to think about. And of course, max HP? 9 nines. That's the maximum. Yeah, you kind of get the idea now, don't you? Well, that otherwise pretty much concludes this video. This video was created by Ulillillia. Thank you for watching. Sorry, no high-speed fall coming up.